Welcome to Chill Dill Explains, the only show where a fermented vegetable tells you why the world is weird. Today we are talking about artificial intelligence, or as the big corporate jars call it, the future of humanity. But is it a revolution, or just a very expensive way to generate pictures of cats wearing hats? Grab your brine, because we are diving deep into the silicon jar. Don't worry, I have got my crayon ready to map this out for you. It is time to peel back the label on the AI hype machine. To understand AI, you first have to understand that it is not actually intelligent. It is basically just a very fast, very hungry pickle that is obsessed with patterns. Imagine if I read every single grocery list in the world and then tried to guess the next item on yours. If you bought lettuce and tomatoes, I would probably yell cucumbers because they usually go together in a salad. That is what a large language model does with words. It looks at the billions of words it has swallowed and calculates the mathematical probability of what comes next. The corporate lawyers love to call this learning because it sounds human and magical. If they admitted it was just a massive math equation, they could not charge you $20 a month for it. They want you to think there is a soul in the machine, but it is just a bunch of transistors doing high-speed guessing. It is like a parrot that has memorized the entire dictionary but has never actually tasted a grape. When a company tells you their AI understands your feelings, they are lying through their glass lids. It is just mimicking the vibration of empathy based on a statistical average of how humans write. This distinction is important because it changes how we view responsibility. If a picklebot says something mean, the company says it is an emergent behavior of a complex system. In reality, it is just reflecting the mean stuff it found in its training bucket. We are being sold a ghost in the machine when it is really just a fancy mirror. Now let's talk about the Great Brine Library, which is where the AI gets its snacks. To make a picklebot smart, you have to feed it everything ever written or drawn by humans. This is where the legal lies get really salty and crunchy. Corporations are currently scooping up every book, every tweet, and every drawing without asking anyone. They call this fair use, which is a legal term that basically means we found it on the floor, so it is ours now. Imagine if I walked into your house, ate your secret family recipe, and then sold it back to you in a different jar. You would be pretty steamed, right? The artists and writers are the ones who grew the cucumbers, but the tech giants are the ones selling the pickles. They claim that because the AI transforms the data into math, it is not stealing. But if you take 1,000,000 paintings and blend them into a soup, you still started with someone else's vegetables. This is a massive corporate heist disguised as technological progress. They are betting that the court system moves slower than their servers. By the time a judge says, "Hey, stop that," the AI will have already swallowed the entire internet. They want to own the output of human culture without paying for the input. It is the ultimate legal loophole for the digital age. If you or I did this with a movie, we would be in a jar with the lid screwed on tight. But because they have billions of dollars, they call it innovation and disruption. They are colonizing the library of human thought and charging us rent to visit. Have you ever heard an AI lie to your face with total confidence? In the tech world, they call this a hallucination because it sounds like a poetic accident. In the real world, we call it being wrong. But that does not sound as cool for investors. These models are designed to please you, not to tell you the truth. If you ask a picklebot when the first pickle walked on the moon, it might give you a date and a name. It is not trying to prank you. It just thinks that a moonwalking pickle sounds like a statistically likely sentence. This is dangerous because corporations are putting these confident liars in charge of important things. Imagine a picklebot giving you legal advice or medical tips based on a coin flip of probabilities. The legal lie here is the term hallucination itself, which shifts the blame from the software to some weird internal dream. It makes it sound like the AI is a conscious being having a vision. It is not having a vision. It is just a broken calculator that likes to tell stories. They use this language to avoid liability when the system fails. They say, "Oh, it is just a glitch in the imagination of the machine." But machines do not have imaginations. They have code and data. When the AI tells you that eating rocks is good for your teeth, that is a failure of engineering, not a psychedelic trip. We need to stop using their fancy words and call it what it is, a fancy guess that missed the mark. If we keep treating AI like a misunderstood genius, we will keep letting companies off the hook for their messy math. Let's talk about the safety lie, which is my personal favorite corporate pickle. Big tech companies spend a lot of time talking about how they are making AI safe for humanity. They hire teams of people to tell the AI not to say bad words or give instructions on how to make a stink bomb. But this safety is often just a way to control the narrative and protect the brand. It is like putting a tiny band-aid on a leaky dam and calling it a safety feature. True safety would mean being transparent about what the AI was fed and how it makes decisions. Instead, we get a black box that is programmed to be polite while it replaces your job. They use safety as a buzzword to lobby for regulations that only they can afford to follow. This is called regulatory capture, and it is a classic move in the Big Jar Handbook. They want to make it so hard to build an AI that no small pickles can ever compete with them. They are building a fence around the garden and claiming it is to keep us safe from the weeds. In reality, they just want to be the only ones who can sell the flowers. They talk about AI safety like it is an alien invasion we need to prepare for. Meanwhile, they are the ones building the rockets and charging for the tickets. It is a clever way to keep the public scared and the competitors out. Don't fall for the safety dance. Look at who is holding the keys to the gate. They are not worried about the robots taking over. They are worried about losing their monopoly on the future. So what is the future of the AI jar? Will we all be served with a side of silicon, or can we stay crunchy? The truth is that AI is a tool, but the people holding the tool are usually looking for a way to cut corners. We are seeing a world where the internet becomes a loop of AI-generated content, feeding back into AI training models. It is a digital snake eating its own tail, and eventually, the quality will get as mushy as an old pickle. We need to demand more than just fancy pattern matching and corporate excuses. We need to value the messy, weird, and unoptimized things that only humans can create. Don't let the big jars convince you that a math equation can replace the soul of a story or the spark of a drawing. AI can be useful, but it should be a servant, not a master, and certainly not a legal person. We have to keep our eyes open and our brine fresh to see through the hype. The future is not written in code. It is written by us, even if we use messy crayons to do it. So next time you see a perfect AI image, remember the pickles who worked hard to make the real world interesting. Keep it crunchy, keep it real, and don't let the silicon jars pickle your brain. We are more than just data points in a billionaire's spreadsheet. We are the ones who decide what is worth keeping and what belongs in the compost bin. Thanks for watching Chill Dill Explains. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the brine, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below telling me what corporate lie I should peel back next. Stay crunchy, my friends.